Hello everyone and welcome back to Philippines Update. This is Ashley and for today's news. The IATF updated the green, yellow and red list countries as well as the travel guidelines, and this is everything you need to know for October 15th to 30th, 2021. The Philippines has revised the roster of red, yellow, and green countries and jurisdictions, as well as the testing and quarantine protocols for arriving passengers. The red, yellow, and green list was updated during the meeting of members of the IATF-EID on Thursday. In a press statement, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said Romania is the only country that has been included in the red list. On the other hand, there are around 49 states and jurisdictions on the green list, Roque said. These are the green list countries. You can pause the video to see it more clearly. And the rest of the world are listed under the yellow list. The updated roster will take effect from October 16th to 31st. Updated testing and quarantine rules. Roque said the IATF-EID also streamlined and codified the testing and quarantine protocols for travelers entering the Philippines. Arriving passengers from red countries will be barred if they stay there 14 days prior to their arrival to the Philippines. Inbound international travel of all persons, regardless of vaccination status, coming from or who have been to red list within the last 14 days prior to arrival to the Philippines shall not be allowed. Roque said. Roque said Filipinos from red list country can only fly to the Philippines via government-initiated repatriation, as well as by Anahan flights, and they are subject to testing and quarantine protocols. He added that returning Filipinos from countries under the red list are required to spend their first 10 days in a quarantine facility and the last 4 days at home, once they return to the country. Yellow countries protocol. For fully vaccinated passengers from yellow countries, they need to undergo facility-based quarantine until the release of their negative RT-PCR test result taken on their 5th day in the Philippines, Roque said. After which, they shall be required to undergo home quarantine until their 10th day. Foreign nationals shall be required to secure their pre-booked accommodation of at least 6 days, he said. Roque said unvaccinated or partially vaccinated travelers, as well as those with unverified vaccination status, have to undergo a facility-based quarantine until the release of their negative RT-PCR test result taken on their 7th day in the country. Foreign nationals coming from yellow list countries have to secure pre-booked accommodation of at least 8 days, Roque added. If you are coming from yellow list, you are required to undergo home quarantine for another week after your facility-based quarantine. Green list countries protocol. Fully vaccinated foreigners from green list countries no longer need to undergo a facility-based quarantine, on the condition that they yield negative RT-PCR test results taken within 72 hours prior to departure from the country of origin. Upon arrival, no facility-based quarantine will be further required, but the passenger is enjoined to self-monitor for any symptoms until the 14th day, Roque said. Roque said fully vaccinated overseas Filipino workers or non-OFW from green list also have the option to undergo a facility-based quarantine until the release of their negative RT-PCR test result taken in the quarantine facility upon arrival in the country. Only if they want. They may also opt not to undergo quarantine, so long as they get a negative RT-PCR test result within 72 hours prior to departure from the country of origin. He said unvaccinated or partially vaccinated individuals, and those with unverified vaccination status, and those who failed to comply with the test before travel requirements need to undergo a facility-based quarantine until the release of their negative RT-PCR test taken on their 5th day in the country, even if they are coming from green list country. So make sure you secure your ICV International Certificate of Vaccination or Prophylaxis or Vaccination Certificate. Protocols for travelers with children. In the case of unvaccinated or partially vaccinated minors traveling with their fully vaccinated parents or guardians, they are mandated to observe the quarantine protocols corresponding to their vaccination status. A parent/guardian shall accompany the child in the quarantine facility for the full term of the latter's facility-based quarantine period, he said. Proof of vaccination. OFWs and their spouse, parents, or children traveling in the Philippines or abroad can present either VaxCert-PH Digital Vaccination Certificate, International Certificate of Vaccination or Prophylaxis, ICV, issued by BOQ or the World Health Organization. The same requirements can be presented by non-OFW vaccinated in the country or abroad, and foreigners vaccinated in the Philippines, Roque said. Roque said foreigners vaccinated abroad can present WHO-issued ICV, or the National Digital Certificate of the foreign government which has accepted VaxCert-PH under a reciprocal agreement unless otherwise permitted by the ITF. And that's all for our latest news today. I hope this is informative and help those who are planning to travel to the Philippines soon. Please hit the like button if you want me to make more updates from the Philippines. Consider subscribing and turn on your post notification bell so you won't miss any updates from the Philippines. Thank you for watching and I will see you guys on the next video. Keep safe.